and I am supported by an amazing team of people who are hoping to inspire and uplift you today. That includes me. Right now, I'm going to turn you over to our music director, Amber Darland, to start that inspiration going.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm so glad to be here this morning. Let's sing Power of Kindness together. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. That's right. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love, power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. We don't know what's coming, we can help shape what's ahead. With kindness as our currency, the commonwealth is in our hands. So give a little on, give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go round. There's more than enough. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Sing with me. Ooh, I believe in the power of love, power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Listen up now, people, keep your ear to the ground. We are a river flowing, generosity abounds. So give a little on, give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go around. There's more than enough. Sing it out. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love, power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. The honeybee serves sweetness only to help the world bloom, bringing love to the flower, from the flower to the fruit. We can learn a thing or two. So give a little on, give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go round. There's more than enough. Sing it out. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love, power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Let's sing one more time. Here we go. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love, power of love. Oh, ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Yes, indeed, we believe in that power of kindness. Hey, take a minute out there if you're on social media, and if you can, put in the comments, say hello to our wonderful spiritual community. It's so nice to have you all out there, whenever and wherever you're tuning in from. And let's sing together, My Soul is Welcome Here. Let me tune so my soul can really be welcome here. Hope you all are having a good morning. I know we've had quite a week, and it feels good to be in community together. So thank you for being here, Bellingham Center for Spiritual Living. Let's sing. the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Clap, clap. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome here.
Hello and welcome, friends, to this wonderful, wonderful morning where we can be in community with music and inspiring words. And please join me in a prayer. There is only one love, one joyful presence, one power of good moving through us. And we are united with that power and with that love. It is the core of our being. It is the core of every person's being. Love and light and joy and peace. And together we know that sense of peace and love is overflowing from each of us out into this community and into this world, moving through our thoughts, our minds, our actions, our words, bringing joy and light and life to every person we encounter, even just in thought. And that joy and that peace that we spread, that our community spreads, lifts the world to a higher plane, to a higher sense of peace and love and joy. And we are the instruments of peace, here and now. And I am so grateful to be here and to be that instrument and to be love. And I release these words knowing they are so, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Kat. Still waters, oh my soul, still these waters so I may know. Still waters, let me be pure reflection of love, healing peace. Still waters, quiet my mind. Still these waters so I may find. Still waters reminding me I am loved. love, I am light, healing peace. Still waters, oh my soul, still these waters so I may know. Still waters, let me be pure reflection of love, healing peace. Still waters, quiet my mind. Still these waters so I may find. Still waters reminding me I am love, I am light, healing peace. I am love, I am light, healing peace. Well, today Dr. Andrea is talking about, well, she'll probably be speaking to many things, but the original topic for today is all about assumptions and taking a look at those assumptions that we carry into the world and how they're, well, I don't know, I know for myself, the assumptions that I carry into the world definitely often don't do me much service, and oftentimes they kind of hold me into a certain way of thinking and way of being, and they also limit my capacity to love. So this song is a song that that sort of popped into my, it's not one that I wrote, it's by a lovely singer-songwriter named Ellis Delaney. And this song is How Would It Be? And one of the verses is, how would it be if everything that you thought you knew was turned upside down, opposite from your point of view? How would you feel if the ground was really the sky, and all of this time you've been walking when you could have been flying? If everything that you thought you knew was turned upside down, opposite from your point of view, how would you feel if the ground was really the sky, and all of this time you've been walking when you could have been flying? If you run 1,000 miles a minute, you can't expect to wear out a few pairs of shoes. If you forget how to love and take it for granted, you can't expect to wear out people close to you. What if all the birds were flying just to show us? All the trees were really holding the sky up, and everything that you do matters somehow. What if heaven and hell was right now? How would it be if you really created your life? Stories you told, the good and bad, that they come alive. How would it change if your words were like nails and wood? You build your house, but you forget it's just a house. You can rebuild it. us in the end? What if all of our mistakes are forgiven? What if love is a lot of listening, a little bit of time, not pretending we are caught up in a world of daydreams? What if loving what you have is everything? What if all the birds were flying just to show us, and all the trees were really holding the sky up, and everything that you do matters so much? What if all the birds were flying just to show us, and all the trees were really holding the sky up, and everything that you do matters so much? How would you change your life? How would you change your life? How could we change this life?
Thank you. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Kat. So I'm wearing vestments today, which is an unusual move on my part. But whenever there's been violence in the world, and we've certainly seen violence in the United States this week, I feel a call to remind myself that I am a spiritual teacher and leader, and that I need to say things that are difficult for me to say in a public forum, and I need to say them skillfully. So wish me luck, because it's difficult to be skillful about violence and how to speak to it. So I'm going to start with a poem that has unfortunately become a common poem in my life over these last few years. It's called "The Thing Is" by Ellen Bass. The thing is to love life, to love it even when you have no stomach for it, and everything you've held dear crumbles like burnt paper in your hands, your throat filled with the silt of it. When grief sits with you, its tropical heat thickening the air, heavy as water, more fit for gills than lungs. When grief weights you like your own flesh, only more of it, an obesity of grief. You think, how can a body withstand this? And then you hold life like a face between your palms, a plain face, no charming smile, no violet eyes. And you say, yes, yes, I will take you. I will love you again. So I wanted to speak today about questioning our assumptions, because I don't know how it's been for you over these last, let's say, 4 years. But what I've noticed, as someone who's been on the planet for a while, that it's been the first time in my life that I can remember a multitude of people dividing from one another with their speech. Now, that might have been going on in people's minds. It wasn't going on in mine particularly, but it's the first time I can remember in living memory of my life where out loud people say things like, well, he's a Republican, or, well, you know, she's a liberal. Well, you know, that corporation, they donate to Republican causes. Well, you know them, I'm not going to support them because they support Democrats. And that kind of dividing of our society should make it no surprise to any of us what happened at our Capitol on Wednesday. That kind of dividing that didn't start 4 years ago, but actually has been happening for centuries. That kind of dividing from a spiritual perspective, and I want to speak to you today from a spiritual perspective. So those of you who I've already activated by mentioning political parties, I want you to return with me to the understanding that I am speaking from a spiritual perspective that says quite clearly, we are all creatures of the divine. We may have different viewpoints, we may take different actions, but the dividing of our society into segments and sections and repulsing people because of a belief that they have, well, I've said it before, it's no surprise what happened in the Capitol. So what I wanted to talk to you about was not only that, but the questioning of our assumptions. And so I brought you a definition of assumption from the Oxford Dictionary. And it's interesting because there are two definitions, and I want us to be working in a layered fashion with both of them. So the first one, very familiar to us. A thing that is accepted as true or as certain to happen without proof. That's an assumption. But here's the second definition. The action of taking on power or responsibility. So we have a responsibility, my people, a spiritual responsibility that we need to take on more fully if we haven't. And we also need to pay attention to the first definition of assumptions and begin to question where we're getting our information and whether it's actually based in any sort of fact, any sort of truth. One of the precepts that I took long ago, the third precept, basically says this: I will not spread news of which I am not certain. For I understand that my words can cause suffering and division and cause the family, the community, and my society to break. And what I've discovered after taking that precept and working with it for decades is that there's very little that we can be certain about if what we're listening to has a bias to begin with. And that what we need to begin to do is have a crucial conversation with ourselves first and with other people second, to begin to come home to what's true within ourselves. I'm taking a Qigong boot camp, very sore. And one of the things that she emphasizes again and again is that if we do not take the time to balance ourselves before we make a move, we will not have a good move. We will have an off-kilter, off-balance experience of the move. And I don't know about you, but there's a lot off-kilter going on in my own life and in the life of our society. So we need better balance. And so I was thinking about, well, what can I tell you about that? What have I learned about that? What do I know about that? And so I want to talk to you a little bit about what struck me. You know, I'm a little different in how I perceive reality. And so as I was learning of what was happening in the Capitol, and not really, you know, I don't indulge in repetitive news. I don't indulge in seeing the same stories and the same pictures and the same commentary, because I don't know about you, but I got it. I got it the first time. Don't need to keep having my neural net grooved by the same thing over and over and over, especially when it has to do with violence. So I was listening to the news, and the Capitol Police and the others had cleared everyone, and our representatives, our duly elected representatives, were preparing to come back to complete the business that they had started. But before they could do that, the janitors had to come in because people had wiped feces on statues and walls. They had sprayed blood all over everything, and they had written graffiti in many, many places. And so the janitors had to come in to clean that up before our elected representatives could come in and do their work. And you know, the focus of the story was on the people coming back. My focus was on the janitors. Let that sink in for a minute. What would it be like to be that janitor, those janitors in that situation and what they had to do? And I thought about what a great metaphor it is for us. And I guess what I'm asking all of us to be in this situation is kind of like janitors. There's some cleanup we need to do, people. And it's not pleasant. It's pretty hard. And yet, I think on a spiritual level, it's our job. And the filth starts inside of us. We need to clean that up because we can't hope to help other people. We can't hope to move with balance if we're out of balance and there's stuff going on inside of us that's not accurate, that's really ugly, that's really not helpful. And so that's why all the great spiritual teachings talk about, you know, you have to love yourself first. You have to do your own work before you can help others. It's the old analogy, I'm sure you're tired of it, of when we used to be able to ride on planes and they would say every time you got on a plane, all right, well, if we lose pressure and oxygen mass will drop from the ceiling, be sure and put your own mask on before you put a mask on your child or someone else who's in need. Well, we're there. We need to put our own mask on, we need to do our own work, and then we need to take that work out into the world. And so I brought you a story from one of my teachers, Thich Nhat Hanh. You may remember that he came to the United States when he had been banned from going back to his own country, and he was working with the peace accords and seeking to help end the war in Vietnam. So this essay is called The Roots of War. In 1966, when I was in the US calling for a ceasefire to the war in Vietnam, a young American peace activist stood up during a talk I was giving and shouted, "The best thing you can do is go back to your country and defeat the American aggressors. You shouldn't be here. There's absolutely no use in you being here." He and many Americans wanted peace, but the kind of peace they wanted was the defeat of one side in order to satisfy their anger. Because they had called for a ceasefire and had not succeeded, they had become angry. And finally, they were unable to accept any solution short of the defeat of their own country. But we Vietnamese who were suffering under the bombs had to be more realistic. We wanted peace. We did not care about anyone's victory or defeat. We just wanted the bombs to stop falling on us. But many people in the peace movement opposed our proposal for an immediate ceasefire. No one seemed to understand. So when I heard that young man shouting, "Go home and defeat the American aggressors," I took several deep breaths to regain myself. There's that balance I'm talking about, sometimes as simple as taking the time to breathe deeply. I took several deep breaths to regain myself, and I said, "Sir, it seems to me that many of the roots of the war are here in your country. That is why I have come. One of the roots is your way of seeing the world. Both sides are victims of a wrong policy, a policy that believes in the force of violence to settle problems. I do not want Vietnamese to die, and I do not want American soldiers to die either. The roots of war are in the way we live our daily lives, the way we develop our industries, build up our society, and consume goods. We have to look deeply into the situation, and we will see the roots of war. We cannot blame just one side or the other. We have to transcend the tendency to take sides. During any conflict, we need people who can understand the suffering of all sides. Practicing nonviolence is, first of all, to become nonviolence. Then, when a difficult situation presents itself, we will react in a way that will help the situation. This is true of ourselves and true of our society. So I know for myself that I've taken sides sometimes, maybe a lot more than I'm even aware of. And I know from the practices that I've been doing spiritually that That's not accurate. It's tempting. It helps in the immediate sense of frustration to sort of blame somebody else. But it doesn't really help long-term anything. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help resolve a situation that probably needs some new energy and understanding. It doesn't help. And what I'm up to, and I think what you're up to, is how can we help? How can we be of service? How can we bring peace? How can we bring love? Not, Valentine card kind of floaty cupids with a little arrow, but the strong kind of love, the passionate kind of love that carries with it the willingness to listen to all sides, to find a way to heal. How do we do that? And there's lots of really great answers, but I only have 25 minutes. So I'm just going to tell you a couple things, and then we'll stop. And I hope you'll investigate that question. How do we help? How do we stop taking sides and listen deeply so that we can find solutions that work for everyone? That's certainly what the Science of Mind is about, is we're seeking to create a world that works for everyone, which sounds entirely idealistic and impossible, and yet I don't think it is. So I brought you another story. Would you like to hear it? Yeah. I have an audience today, so of 5 very carefully spaced people. Well, I was reading in The Lion's Roar, which is a Buddhist magazine that I get, about a neo-Nazi who moved from hate to love. And I thought I'd just tell you that. I'm probably going to go over my 25 minutes just a little bit, but you have to have the backstory to understand. So his name is Arno Michaelis, and he was raised in the mid-70s, and he had a family that seemed from the outside to be just fine, but his father was an alcoholic, his mother was struggling, and he became addicted to adrenaline. And the adrenaline that he was experiencing was because he felt powerless at home to affect change, he began to bully children on the playground, and that gave him adrenaline. And pretty soon he worked himself up into being antisocial. And actually, by the age of 16, he was in dangerous company. He was an alcoholic, and so at first, the way he began to express it was he decided he would move from the Beatles and AC/DC to punk. And this is what he said. I can't say what he said because I can't say those words on camera. So just use your imagination. I loved punk because it made people really angry, Michaelis says. And if you think a mohawk makes people really angry, try a swastika. Swastikas really, really get people going. Michaelis and his friends decided to start not only a white power skinhead band, but also a white power skinhead gang. Michaelis's addictive personality became consumed with the white supremacy movement. He was an avid reader of mythology and fantasy, and the movement gave Michaelis's violence a heroic narrative. It was about fighting for your people and National Socialism. Anyone who didn't like it was the enemy, he says. It was all very romantic. It really repulsed civil society, which also gave me a kick. Michaelis saw himself as a warrior. That's an important point. So I'm going to skip a lot of the story and read you this. Somehow, the elderly black female cashier at McDonald's could see the potential for good in the tattoo-covered neo-Nazi standing in front of her. Spotting the swastika tattoo on Michaelis's middle finger, she looked at him and said, I know you're a better person than that. That's not who you are. Michaelis ran out of there and never returned. The purpose of that tattoo was to flip my middle finger with the swastika at people so they'd be frozen like a deer in the headlights. But when she met my hate with compassion, I couldn't fight back. This was one of the many instances in which Michaelis's Jewish boss, lesbian supervisor, and Black and Latino coworkers treated him with kindness and compassion when he least deserved it, even offering him sandwiches after he'd spoken hatefully. His parents never gave up on him either, even though McCall says he put them through living hell. Maintaining his hate in the face of so many who refused to lower themselves to his level began to exhaust him. McCallus had a child because he wanted to bring more white people into the world. But in the end, it was because of his daughter that McCallus left hate groups, and because of her that he found a spiritual path. He was in his early 20s when his daughter was born, but when he saw a second friend murdered in a street fight and lost count of how many friends in the white power movement had been incarcerated, he began to wonder if death or prison would take him away from her. The final realization came when he saw his daughter playing with children of different races at daycare. It struck me that they were all just children. Not black children or white children, but the sons and daughters of mothers and fathers like me, he wrote in his autobiography, My Life After Hate. I thought of all the people I had hurt, whether with my own hands or by lighting some psychopath's fuse. How did their loved ones feel when they saw this person who was so special to them, battered and broken? How horrible would it be to have my daughter exposed to such violence in the slightest aspect? Love for my child thawed a dormant empathy for people that I was never aware of. Slowly, McCallus began to extract himself from his identity as a white supremacist, putting together a new life by quitting drinking, getting a job, repairing his relationship with his now divorced parents, and attending university. When his daughter was 10, she started reading books by the Dalai Lama. I didn't know what Buddhism was about, just the fact that she was drawn to it interested me, and thus began his spiritual path. Now, I'm not sharing that story to say, oh, if we could all just understand and change our ways, everything would be fine. But I am reminding you about questioning our assumptions, because our assumptions often have to do with categorizing sets of people in a certain way and then never circling back to look at the individual as someone who is God, is a manifestation of the indwelling presence. And we need to circle back. It's not easy. It's really not easy. But it's the spiritual practice that we need to now be practicing if we haven't been. To be a janitor of the soul, to work diligently to find the ugly places in our own consciousness and to transform them as McCallus did, that's the work of the spiritual path. And it's more an inner journey that then allows us to, with better balance, come out into service to the greater world in whatever way we see is needed that we can address. So to do the janitor work, we have to have a few things. We have to have a broom to sweep our heart of hatred. We have to have a dust mop so that we can wipe the lens of our perception clean, so that we can see beyond bias to what's actually true and what's actually not true, and not make assumptions based on anything that we don't know to be true. We need a vacuum to sweep all that crap up so that we don't have to live with it inside of ourselves. And once we've cleaned the house that we live in spiritually, we have the opportunity to come into a place of tremendous service to the greater good that can unfold. You know, the mythologist Michael Meade did a podcast right after the things happened at the Capitol. And you may not like him because, well, he's a liberal. But I'll tell you one thing that he said, because he's a mythologist, I'm interested in him, and he's a really good storyteller. He said, you know, there's an old understanding in mythological language that whenever chaos arises, it's a doorway, a threshold. And the person standing at that threshold can go one of two ways. They can go into the chaos, or if they open the door, they go into renewal. And I think our society is ready to go into renewal. I believe for myself, as I do the work inwardly and come clean to the situation, I might be one of the people, like you are, that can assist in a deeper understanding of what's possible. To do that, we have to drop any cynicism we have about society. I know. My whole family's fairly cynical. I'm not. And so I wanted to leave you with these words and then a prayer. These words are from the founder of the Science of Mind philosophy. His name was Dr. Ernest Holmes. He wrote for a long, long time, and he was writing this particular piece at the height of the McCarthy era, which in the United States was a dark time, a time of violence, once again, where people were singled out as communists in the entertainment industry and in other industries and blacklisted, and their lives were destroyed because of this practice. And it was perpetrated by a senator or a House of Representatives, I can't remember if he was in the House or the Senate, who was basically found to be crazy at the end of that era. And he was drummed out of service because of that. But for a long time, that crazy did so much damage. So here's Holmes writing in a piece that never got published publicly called World Peace is Not an Illusion, written in July 1955. So we want peace on earth? Then let us pray for peace in our own hearts. Let us affirm peace in our own minds. Let us live as though peace were the mandate of God, because it is. Together, let us affirm it and let us encourage others to, no matter what the opposition appears to be, for it is the fundamental reality of God. Let us face the future without fear, but let us also face it intelligently, afraid of nothing. There is nothing in the universe to be afraid of. Let us realize if the world is healed of war and brought into peace, it won't have been because guns got bigger or better or there were more of them. Let us, you and me, pray for peace, and let us make our hearts fit to accept it when it comes. Let us make our intellect and our soul and our will feeling ready to receive it and embrace it before it even comes. Amen. Brothers and sisters of all different persuasions, please join me. Please join me in unity. Please drop the divisions in the mind. Please become a janitor with me. And please accept this prayer that I speak for myself, for yourself, if it applies. Here and now, I remember that the source of my very existence is the divine, and that the divine moves in many ways, but in my life particularly, I am calling forth the love that knows no limit, the love that does not categorize, divide, separate, and choose only one way. No, I choose the love that is fierce and strong and whole and complete and moves with power and dignity and grace in service to all of life. I choose love over hatred because I know hatred does not work. It never has, it never will. And so I scour the places of my own consciousness, my mind and my heart that have one single speck of hatred left. I look deeply into my own belief systems and ideas. I question my assumptions on a daily basis, and I bring forward love, love and more love, love and more love, to help me see with clear eyes and a clear heart into solutions that benefit all people, that lift all institutions, that heal all troubles. Is this too big for one janitor? Well, I can work in the sphere of where I have to clean, trusting and knowing that there are janitors all over the world doing this same work, making it right again, so that we can do business in love for one another and the world. I volunteer. I raise my right hand and say, yes, I will be a janitor of love. And I'm grateful for the opportunity. And so it is. So it's always a little tricky to shift gears and tell you about what's happening in the center. and yet I really want you to know, so let me grab those announcements. So today we have a very special men's group meeting at noon via Zoom. And if you would like that link, please email Philip Flores. His email address is philintexas, all one word, @gmail.com. Starts at noon, goes hour and a half, something like that. And we'd love you to be a part of that. The Sacred Women's Circle is going to be meeting January 15th at 6 o'clock via Zoom. And you can get that link by contacting our office, email at info@csl-bellingham.org. We have a very special treat. Next Sunday, a group of our wonderful spiritual practitioners is offering an hour and a half workshop that's absolutely free of charge that will put you on the spiritual path in a more direct and interactive way. They've developed a series of workshops. There'll be 6 of them that cover the fundamentals of our teaching and the fundamentals of all of the world's great teachings that will help you live as a janitor in this world more effectively. So join them at noon next Sunday. Our Prosperity Plus 3 class started this last Saturday. It's not too late to jump in, but this is the last week that you can join that class. So if you're interested, please contact the office and we'll get you hooked up with Joanne Allison, our wonderful facilitator for that. I'm going to be beginning, there we go, too many B's. I'm going to be beginning to teach a very new class. We've never taught it before in our center. It's one of the new classes offered by our organization. It's called Revealing Wholeness. It starts the first Tuesday of February at 6 o'clock via Zoom. And it studies the work of the science of mind, Mind Over Medicine by Lisa Rankin, and also brings in the teachings of Joe Dispenza. So it's a really exciting class, 7 weeks long. If you want to be a part of it, you can contact the office and they'll give you more information. And I'm also part of a group called the Earth Stewards in our center. And we are a group that are proactively and spiritually working with climate change issues and bringing our spiritual understanding to solution making. So I got to work with a small group of the Earth Stewards to present on the 5th Sunday of this month, which is the 31st of January, a wonderful opportunity for you to come, have a Zoom meeting with me and others, watch a 16-minute presentation by a wonderful spiritual teacher about climate change. And while you're watching, we invite you to bring a plant-based lunch to eat while we're watching that presentation. And then we'll have an opportunity in small breakout groups to talk about what we saw in the video and discuss some of the solution making that's presented. So I hope you'll join us on the 31st. I'm not supposed to tell you this, but I want you to mark your calendars for February 27th. February 27th, one of my favorite people on the planet, Sue Miller-Bourne, who is the minister in Redding, California, she and I have been presenting retreats for over 30 years now. And we decided we wanted to present a retreat together. It's a day-long retreat using Zoom, so we have modules of 90 minutes. But I don't know what the theme is. I'm not sure what it's going to cost. I don't have the Zoom link set up, which is why I'm not supposed to tell you about it. But I want you to mark your calendars for February 27th and plan to spend the day with me and Sue and be uplifted in ways that will really assist you on the spiritual path. Right now, I'm going to turn you over to Amber Darlin, and we'll take ourselves out on a high note with her wonderful music. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Andrea. All right, yes, let's sing out into this glorious day. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the good. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the light. Today What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. So let's dwell upon the good. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the love. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the grace. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the joy. Today I'm seeing God in each and every face. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. So let's dwell upon the good. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. So let's dwell upon the good. Yeah, let's dwell upon the good. Indeed, let's take this goodness into our week, and we'll see you again soon. Bye, everybody.